Yes, boys, how we all doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today it's all about the FC Fantasy League, man. How to get you boys more wins in this sweaty-ass tournament, man. I mean, 36 games, 12 games apiece. We've already played, most people have played 24 already, boys, obviously from the two phases. Phase 3 has come out tonight at the time you boys will see this video. What do you do to try and get the utmost out of each game, boys? From player selection, formation selection, tactics, what you run in game, to certain techniques and mechanics, boys, you can do in the gameplay to obviously try and give yourself that edge against your opponent, and a whole host of other little options you boys have got within your games, techniques you can use just to give yourself that little bit of a bonus chance, man, of winning that game, getting those extra 2 or 3 wins that could take you up to another pack or another player potentially, man. Obviously, we all want that Maicon, even the Martin Odegaard, right, 20 wins. A lot of people won't be able to get there. Hopefully this video today, boys, will help you out game to game, different things and factors, boys, that we should be considering before each game, and obviously in the gameplay as well, man. So a little bit of both. I'm covering different things, boys, that you should be thinking about both before your game, little things you can set up and different things you can think about, and then also how you manage in the game as well, man. Different techniques and things you can do to help you give your edge over your opponent, man. So without further ado, with all that being said, boys, your boy Footy's gonna jump in to the post commentary screen, take you boys through how you give yourselves the edge in your sweaty Fantasy FC League games, man. Yes, boys, here we go, man. So obviously, into the post-commentary king here. Gonna show you boys the formations. For me, formation and tactics, before you even do any gameplay, that's the first tip I can say. It's team selection. If you need in terms of what players to use, boys, and what squad's the best to use in this, definitely check out my video from the other day in terms of the teams, the best teams to use. Definitely look at that video because it'll help you out in terms of what players to select, fitting in with these requirements for the Fantasy League Cup. But in terms of what formation I'm running with the 4-3-3. Idea is to pick a formation, boys, especially if you struggle with defensively like I do. Pick a formation where, you know, basically it boxes out the midfield. Things like a 4-3-3, second variation that I'm using with the 2 CDMs. Like you can see here, I've got holding on the Benacer and Lemar, Hullet, and then I'm running inside forward on the wingers because I think with the way the teams you're going to face against this, you know, you're going to face against like low agility defenders, players that aren't going to track runs properly. So you're going to get a lot of space in this cup, more so than in your regular Ultimate Team and Champs games, because players that people are using are obviously a lot lower rated. So inside forward, having your wingers run in is definitely an important tip. Definitely utilize that as always. Most people use it not with team regularly games anyway, with rivals and champs, so definitely make it no different in this cup, boys. It will be beneficial for you. You'll see in these clips I score a lot of goals like that. So yeah, general idea, boys, 100% pick a formation, even the 4-4-1-1, for example, 4-5-1, 4-2-3-1, something that's gonna you find you're confident defending with, because the last thing we're gonna talk about this in a wee second, boys, in terms of managing the gameplay. I still don't know, by the way, when you see this here, I don't know how this is a pen, right? We get the ball back, Hullet plays it back through, we get a pen, and it helps us take the lead in this game. I still don't know how that was a penalty. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is, yeah, you do not want to go down by a couple of goals in this game early. Because if you're 2-0 down at halftime, boys, that 2-0 deficit at halftime, it's nearly lights out for you. Because the clock goes so fast in these games, the timer, it goes so quick. You know, the game's over in a heartbeat, man. You do not want to be chasing the game, boys, early on. We're going to get on to in a wee second, as I say, how to manage the game. In this game, as you'll see, another big tip as well is, once you get in your lead, so we get a 2-0 lead here, I believe, right? Hullet. As you can see, my general gameplay, the way I can describe the gameplay with this, boys, is that you gotta just play very patient in this cup. There's the you see the way we worked that opportunity there? Like, we could have easily messed that up, but you can see in possession here, like, I'm just trying to keep myself calm, composed, you know, let the opponent come to me, especially if you're in the lead in these games, boys, in this cup. Don't let, you know, the game, you don't need another goal. Do you know what I mean? If you get an early goal, you play very smart, right? You can see the way I'm building the play up now as well. 42nd minute, right? So, especially now, right, we've got a couple minutes to halftime. This guy ain't seeing the ball. This guy ain't seeing the ball, and you can apply that to, you know, 90th minute, 120th minute, 105th minute, anytime before an interval. Don't let your opponent see the ball, because you know the way FIFA's inclined, it will give this guy, you know, if he gets a shot on target, it'll probably end up being a goal. You know, one of those 45th minute cheese goals or whatever, right? So you do not want to be conceding those. You'll see here, I've got the lead. I'm playing very, you know, just balanced and just calm. Easy passes, safe passes. This guy actually got a little bit pissed off there in the end, and yeah, he ends up leaving the game. Now, I'm not saying for one to be a rat. Definitely do not be a rat, right? Because, you know, nobody likes rats. But what I'm saying is, play smart. You know, don't be giving the ball away in stupid areas or possession up cheaply whenever you don't need to. If you're in the lead in the game, by 100%, boys, make sure you just keep calm, play your, you know, possession style football, even switch your tactics. That's what I'm doing. What I'm doing, boys, in the games is actually, if I get a couple of goals up, I'm actually switching my tactic from balance to short passing. So what short passing does on the build-up style is it pretty much makes your players come a lot closer. which means that it's kind of my play style, I guess, is then focused on more a short build-up, short passing style, which really helps. You know, it means that my players are in close proximity to everyone, and it just gives me a lot more options, and it means that there's less transitions, less losses of possession. Now, that isn't something that I'd advise to start with. Some people do, but I wouldn't start with it, but I certainly think it's something viable in this cup whenever, you know, especially if the games are so close, boys. The games are so close usually. It's only a couple of goals in them. The games are so fast. You know, they're over in like, what is it, 3 minutes half length? Do you know what I mean? So if you get yourself in a promising position, a couple of goals up, definitely make sure you utilize, you know, playing calmly, possession based, short passing if you need to on the tactics, and drop deep. Even have a backup formation, man. Maybe like a 4-5-1 or something to switch into, you know, when you get a lead. So that's one big tip I can say, boys, is when you get in a promising lead, you know, as I say, pretty much don't bottle it, but play smart, you know. This guy, as I say, that last guy ended up leaving. We jump into another game here as well. You'll see general style here. Chiesa, this is a very nice goal. Just lovely wee dribbling there on the AI. A little bit of precision dribbling, and then a nice Trivella to score. And then I think we get another one here, don't we, as well? Hullet. Yeah, no, we don't actually. Chiesa should have scored that. Chiesa should have scored that, man. He moved his keeper late on, and it was my fault for not like reading that earlier and capitalize on it. But yeah, you'll see my just general gameplay, boys. We're very, very patient in possession. Like, always playing the extra pass. That Liao there, as you can see, inside forward. And that's why I'm saying the tactics from here at the start. Make sure you utilize inside forward. Generally speaking, it's viable this year. Inside forward is one of the best things to put in your wide players, if not the best. Generally speaking, especially in this cup, when you think of the players you're going to come up against, it's 100% worthwhile using them, because players you're coming up against, boys, like defensively, they're not going to be able to track much, because a lot of them are lower stats than your regular defenders you're facing against. It's not going to be like Van Dijk's and Saliba's every game, you know, Kanate's. So yeah, you're going to get a lot of joy by using this in this cup, that inside forward plus if you have it on players. Yeah, so definitely utilize that. That's another big tip I can say from the intro screen. I said that already. There's another one, extra pass, Roger. He's actually been a bit of a beast in this game for us. We ended up winning that 3-1. So, yeah. So then in terms of game number 3 then, boys, final game of today's video, as I talk through the final little tips I can give you, boys. So as I say here, man, we've got a nice goal here. I'll let the gameplay unfold in the background. But another big tip I can say is whenever you jump into the game, boys, analyze your opponent's team. Analyze your opponent's team, right? So whether obviously there's the glitch where it doesn't always load up, but player performance, you can go on to like performance, just pause it from the start, go into performance if it doesn't show up, or if you do see it pop up, you can look at it. Analyze your opponent's team. We know this cup is 84 rated. Now, a lot of people obviously find ways around that, whereby they're using the Silver Evos, for example, or they're using cards that, you know, are very OP and they're having a very, very balanced team. But some opponents you will face, boys, will come up against teams where they're very top heavy. And what I mean by that is obviously you'll have maybe say like Liao right on the left, Dalglish up front, and then you'll have like a really weak team around that. Maybe like low rated, slow centre backs, or just low rated bad defense, you know, like just generally not great players, to put it simply. You might have like an 81 standard right back, you might have a really gold common left back, you know, just standard things like that where they're not that great. So make sure you exploit those. Make sure you exploit those if you can with the cards you've got. And yeah, really pay attention to your opponent's team. So opponent's team, pay attention to that. Formation and tactics, manage the game, play a calm, possession-based football. Take your time with things, don't rush, especially if you're in the lead. Keep the ball, there's a lovely goal from Liao here as well. Keep the ball, especially before intervals. Do not concede goals on the 45th and 90th minute, boys, because it's infuriating. You know, the game goes that fast, like, so, you know, whatever you've got like in a promising position, a couple of goals up, or before halftime or full time, make sure you just hold on to the ball. You know, don't go to the corner, you don't need to go to the corner or play like a rat or anything, or play toxic, but just play smart passing. You know, even this here build-up play on this goal, you can see I'm not rushing things. You know, utilize a mixture of your short passing build-up, boys, and obviously the AI as well, your precision dribbling. You know, you can see here, I'm just, yeah, you know, keep the ball ticking, keep the ball moving. I lost it actually there on that occasion, but I think we'll do win it back. But yeah, just generally speaking, play smart. Play smart, and you'll win some of these games without no problem, boys. You're gonna face against hard opponents in this cup. You know, everyone does. Big other thing to notice on that topic of playing hard opponents, make sure whatever you do, boys, you do not leave games in this cup. Alright? That is another massive tip I can say, and it's going to help you massively in getting more wins in this cup, is do not leave. Because the ELO system will absolutely shaft you, boys, if you leave games. Because what it does is, say you're 2-0 in this cup, right? And you go and play a game, and you play it all out, and you end up losing. That means you're on a 2-1 ELO, a +1 ELO, and your next opponent then, after the loss, will be easier. Tend to be easier, right? They'll be on a record similar to yours. If you end up playing a game, say you're 2-0, and you end up playing a guy, and he takes the lead, and you leave, or maybe a couple of goals down, even if you're not going to get back in the game, boys, it's worth staying on in the bigger picture, the bigger scheme of things. Worth staying on and just playing the game out, because if you don't and you leave, obviously yes, you'll lose a game in the cup, but it'll not count towards the elo, boys, and then that pretty much screws your matchmaking, because you're just going to face an equally hard opponent that you've just lost to in your next game, rather than potentially being a little bit easier. So whatever you do not leave. So yeah, boys, that pretty much rounds up the video. As I say, a bit of a quick fire video, post commentary style. Hopefully it's been done all right. Post comms are not the easiest to do, boys, whenever you don't do them often, so bit of a different type of video I've recorded today for you legends, but I hope it really does help, man. A lot of these things you boys might already know. Maybe you've gained a couple of things in this video, though. I hope you have. Just things to keep in mind when you're playing your fantasy league games, man. We all want that Maicon. You know, even that Martin Odegaard, boys, I'd settle for now at 20 wins. I really would. But yeah, just general summary. Control of the game. The first thing before you even enter the game, make sure you've got the right players and the right formation. That's the first thing you got to consider. You don't want to be leaving yourself open to conceding a lot of goals in this cup, because that'll instantly screw you. You don't have a lot of game. You know, different in Ultimate Team, boys, in Rivals or Champs. You know, you've got like a full-length game to play, 15 minutes on average, right? And if you go a couple of goals down and you want to play with the motto or the mentality of, I'm going to outscore my opponent, fair enough. Right? But in this cup, you don't want to be doing that, because you don't have a lot of time. And if you go a couple of goals down early on, it's near enough lights out for you already. It's near enough game over. So you do not want to be doing that. As I say, formation and tactics is crucial. Box out the midfield. Make sure you've got something in there. You know, you've got maybe ideally a couple of CDMs, I would say, to make sure you've got a little bit of control in these games against any level of opponent. Obviously, the game's a lot shorter, so it's about managing when you get in the games, boys. Managing each phase of the game, depending on the the circumstances. Are you a goal ahead, a couple of goals ahead, are you a couple of goals down? Have backup formations, of course. Do not leave games. Elo is important. Cherish your Elo and do not leave games, no matter what the result is, because might seem like, oh, you know what, I don't have time, I'm going to leave the game now quickly to save myself extra stress. But in the long run, boys, you're only going to cause yourself more stress. If you're planning on playing all these games and trying to get anywhere near Maicon, you gotta play all games, man. You know, no matter whether you're losing or winning. Because overall, you'll get a massively easier experience if you don't leave games, because the gameplay, matchmaking will be better for you. And then the last two things I would say, boys, is obviously in terms of your analysing your opponent's team. Same with weak links. Sometimes there is none, but, you know, there might be a weak CDM in there, or centre-back, or a gold common fullback in the team, right, in your opponent's team. So make sure you can exploit that in any way you can to give yourself that edge in these games as well. And obviously, lastly, definitely not leastly, it's your own individual performance in the gameplay. Manage it. Are you a couple of goals ahead? Are you a couple of goals behind? Do you need a backup formation? Short passing build-up style I find very effective in this cup when I've got a lead. It means my players are around me. They're not making runs, you know, away where I can't pass to them. They're in space and they're open for passes, and it gives me a lot of options when I'm in possession of the ball. Maintain possession, especially if you're in the lead. As I say, you don't need to go to the corner or play toxic or anything. I'm not encouraging that. Definitely not. But play smart. Play smart's the big thing, and you'll be able to grind out these wins, man. You know, you'll honestly, that's what's happened with me, boys. I was on a really bad record, and then suddenly I've started to pick things up just by taking these tips on board. So yeah, hope this video helps. I really do. The biggest thing I think ultimately, as I say, once you get everything set up, boys, formation and tactics and stuff, and yeah, obviously, you know, you're analysing your opponent's team, you're not leaving games, you're doing everything right, taking plenty of breaks as well, of course, to help with the rage in this cup, because it is very sweaty. Once you do all that, it all comes down to you in the moment in the game, and the biggest thing I found is, as I say, maintain possession. That's the most important thing in this cup, man, because the cup goes that quick. It's a 3-minute half length, remember, as well. So you do not want to be, you know, giving away a couple of easy goals to your opponent early on, because you're 2 down at half time, boys. As I say, it's near enough game over for you, man. It's very hard to get back, just simply because you don't have enough time, you know. So, and if you play against the opponents using these tips, for example, and you know, a lot of people are already now grinding out these wins, they're not going to let you see the ball. You know, they're going to keep possession. So yeah, hope the video's been helpful. If it has, boys, please do smack that like. It'll help reach it on to that next person, more and more new viewers, of course. If it has been helpful, as I say, please do hit the subscribe as well. We're on the verge, boys, of hitting that 7,200. 7.2k for your boy Footy. I would be greatly appreciative if you could hit that red subscribe, boys. Great to have you on the channel, man. If you are a first-time viewer, you're very welcome. We do videos, streams, yeah, a load of different variety of FC25 content, I guess you could say. So yeah, get involved. Great to have you on board, boys, and I'll see you all in the next video, man.